Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Leo Daughtry and Donna Martinez. Highway 12 is a ribbon of a road that runs along the Barrier Islands, North Carolina's Outer Banks. Last week, a winter storm once again covered over sections of the road with sand. Washouts are a common occurrence. Erosion of asphalt is also common. North Carolina has spent millions and millions of dollars trying to keep this road on our Barrier Island open, and some are saying we should just give up the fight and find other transportation alternatives, perhaps maybe even building an elevated highway like the one on the Florida Keys. What do you think we should do, Leo?
Well, it depends on whose ox you're going. I believe that if you have a house down there, if you want the road so you can get down to your place and go fishing and that sort of thing. But the truth is, we have really spent a large amount of money on that road. And I don't know if we have the ability or the money, and I'm not sure they can get the votes to build a bridge. That is very expensive. The answer may be either to disregard the road and not have one, have a ferry or some other way to get there, or just keep fixing it every time it tears up. And I would say that the politics at the present time is to continue fixing it as it breaks apart.
You know, if you've ever driven on that elevated road along the Florida Keys, I don't remember exactly what the number of it is. It's not exactly a bridge, but it also doesn't have the same kind of problems. Donna, what's your take on this issue?
Well, ultimately, North Carolina is too beautiful for her own good. That's the problem that we're trying to face here. And I say that jokingly, but also seriously. We live in an incredible state. We want to enjoy it. We want to be next to nature, and people want to come here. The reality is that you're not going to be able to defeat Mother Nature. These islands are moving. The sand and the water are there. I love the idea of the Florida over bridge, but as Leo referred to, can you imagine the cost of that? And while you were building it, even if you were able to make it through the whole environmental protection process, et cetera, my word, that would take forever. You'd still have to be spending the money to renourish the roads while you were building the elevation. Frankly, I think what we're going to have to really seriously consider, and I know it would not be popular, is to make that a toll road and have users pay and to chip into the kitty to keep renourishing and rebuilding after these occurrences, which are not going to stop.
Giving residents maybe a break on the tolls.
Well, there's always exemptions that are built into things like that, and there's, I'm sure, would be something that's workable. But I think we do have to acknowledge that something's got to give, or acknowledge that this is going to be a constant and continual appropriations process. And that's a big policy debate that we need to have.
You know, we've been doing this show for 22 years now. I can't tell you how many times we've talked about NC-12 on our show. And so over a 22-year period of time, we talk about it, but nothing's really happened. Do you see any appetite for doing something, Leo?
No, I don't, because I think the road has, I think it's out of sight, out of mind. Once they get it fixed again, I don't see that the General Assembly is willing to do anything to that part of the state to cause it any damage. I don't see the appetite for it.
Donna, we don't like toll roads in North Carolina. How hard would it be to get that through?
Well, it would be incredibly hard, but I got to tell you, I'm a fan of toll roads because my view is that toll roads help everybody. And you've got to have some sort of a revenue stream. And that's just the reality of this. So there may not be an appetite for this. You know, the tourism industry, of course, would have a huge say over all of this. They're influential. They're going to make the argument, hey, we contribute to this state, and so you're trying to, quote, hurt us by doing something like this. But we'll just see how influential, and then see if there are legislators who are ready to say, we've got to change what we've been doing. Change is tough, even if it would be positive for the long term. People like a short-term solution.
You know, DOT is now asking the public for proposals and suggestions on how we're going to fund our roads. And many of us have been down to Florida and have had to pull out the dollar every few miles to put in a toll booth. I got to tell you, though, they got pretty good roads in the state of Florida. Well, thank you for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.